After trying different asset classes from single family real estate to angel investing to stock investing to crypto investing, I settled on multifamily real estate as the core investment vehicle to help me achieve financial freedom. I am Dr. Julius Oni, Associate Professor of Orthopedic Surgery and Director of Global Orthopedics at Johns Hopkins. I am also a real estate investor. So yeah, for me, being an orthopedic surgeon has been the joy of my life. I started about 12 years ago, and I remembered back then that all I wanted to do was just become the best orthopedic surgeon that I can be. But as I developed more expertise over the years, I quickly realized that I cannot only just depend on trading my time for money, and that I needed to put some of the money that I was making from orthopedic surgery to work, so that that money also can work just as hard as I was working pursuing my passion in orthopedic surgery. So after trying different asset classes from single family real estate to angel investing to stock investing to crypto investing, I settled on multifamily real estate as the core investment vehicle to help me achieve financial freedom. And I define financial freedom as the ability to do whatever you want, whatever you want to, for as long as you want, whenever you want. And that to me accounts for time freedom, money freedom, health freedom, and geographic freedom, being able to be wherever you want when you need to be there. So for me, with orthopedic surgery, I'm able to alleviate people's pain and help them restore their physical quality of life. And with real estate investing, and the way we do it, we pull resources from a bunch of busy professionals like myself, and we grow our wealth together. And so with real estate, I believe that we are also alleviating people's financial pain and restoring their financial futures. So I see that parallel certainly with real estate and the work that I do in orthopedic surgery. Definitely, my return to Nigeria several months ago certainly garnered quite a bit of attention, to my actually significant surprise. But I welcome it because I truly believe in this country and believe in contributing significantly to improving access to high quality musculoskeletal care in this very special country called Nigeria. But since I also identify as a real estate investor, and I do quite a bit of real estate investing in the US, I believe it's also important that I open up access to those real estate investments to my fellow Nigerians, so that we can also democratize access to institutional grade real estate assets in the US to any Nigerian that is willing to invest. But that's not all. I see great opportunities to also invest in real estate right here at home in Nigeria, to provide easy access to those real estate investments to our African counterparts or our Nigerian counterparts in diaspora. So the mission of XSITE Africa is very simple. We want to be able to democratize access to institutional grade multifamily real estate assets in the US to willing Nigerian investors who are in Nigeria. And we also want to be able to democratize access to Nigerian real estate investments to diaspora Nigerians and other people that may be interested in the Nigerian real estate market. But this is important to note. I think it's important that we are able to create great quality real estate investments, or great quality real estate or residential real estate the growing young population of Nigeria. As far as I'm concerned, that population is currently underserved. And most people are going luxury. They're going in the current real estate environment in Nigeria could certainly use some new thinking, I believe. And I believe XSITE Africa is here to present a new thinking or approach. That's a great question. Yes, I have been lucky enough to develop a pretty large portfolio of real estate and other investments in America. But I also have been a long-term investor, believe it or not, in Nigeria, and I've invested in a lot of ventures, from startups to small, medium-sized businesses. And so I have a pretty good outlook on the business environment, both in Nigeria and in America. So, in my conclusion is that there are great opportunities in both places. But as far as I'm concerned, there are greater opportunities right here at home in Nigeria. And it's easy to see where all the problems are in Nigeria, and that's what, unfortunately, as Nigerians, that's what we mostly focus on. But if you just focus on the problem, it's going to be very difficult to see the opportunities. Yes, is it more difficult to do business in Nigeria? Yeah. Are there many more challenges? Yeah. But are there incredible opportunities for significant growth? Absolutely. For whoever is watching or looking for it. See, if you are skiing downhill, I don't know if people listening would understand what skiing is. This is essentially using skis down the slope of snow. If you're skiing downhill and all you're thinking of is avoid hitting the trees, guess what? All you're going to start seeing is trees, and you're eventually going to hit a tree. But if you're skiing downhill and all you're just looking for is pathways to navigate, you're going to only see pathways. Yes, these trees are going to be in the periphery, but you're going to see the pathways to navigate. That's what I usually encourage people to do. Yes, there are a lot of problems in Nigeria, but there are people still figuring out how to do business in this country. That's what I believe, that particularly for real estate investing, there's a lot to be done. And at XSITE Africa, we are committed to doing that work. One thing people don't realize about multifamily real estate is like small changes create big value because of the economics of scale. So the way value creation works in multifamily real estate acquisitions is that the value is determined by the net operating income divided by something called the cap rate, which is a measure of what investors are willing to pay for a property. What we as real estate investors have control over is the net operating income. What that means is that we increase the revenues on these properties, we manage them better to decrease the expenses. The delta of that, the difference between those two, the revenues and the expenses, is the net operating income. So when you go into a property, particularly a property that could use a little bit of a facelift, and you bring it from whatever the classic look of that property is to a modern vintage, then you can truly create significant value, because you will be able to increase the revenue that is being generated on that property, and then you can then manage it better and see the great opportunities to decrease expenses. And that's essentially what our usual business plan is. And see, almost all of us have lived in apartments, especially those of us that either schooled or lived in the Western world. You've lived in apartment buildings where there's like 100 units, and guess what? People own those. And my aha moment was when I realized that, wait, these people that own these buildings, they don't have two heads. They have the same one head, like we, all of us do. And the question was, how can we also be able to acquire them? And at that time, I didn't have the $10 million, $20 million to take down a large apartment building. But one thing we knew we had was community. We had other busy professionals, other people working just as hard as we are for their money. And we then took the gospel of multifamily real estate to those communities and said, listen, we as small-time investors can then pool our resources. We can work together, we can collaborate, and then we can go out and buy these large properties together. And that's what XSITE Capital has done 7 times. And that's how we've achieved an asset under management of 217 million in less than 6 years. There is power in community. There is power in working together. There is power in pooling resources. We've done it in the Americas. We are going to do it right here in Nigeria. That is a great question. Wealth, to me, is freedom. Freedom to live wherever you want to do. Freedom to be able to afford the things that you want. Freedom to have good health. Freedom to have time to spend with whoever you want to spend it with. You know, that to me is wealth. So when I'm thinking about our ideal investor at XSITE Capital, it is someone who understands the importance of diversification of their wealth. They want to be a global investor. They're someone who thinks, when I say that, I'm saying even bidirectionally. Our Nigerian investors in Nigeria are looking to essentially diversify their real estate investments between Nigeria and other places. In this case, the United States of America, and our Nigerian diaspora investors in the Americas or in other parts of the world who also want to diversify some of their holdings to include Nigeria. Those people are the avatars. These are the people that see the vision that we present at XSITE Capital and want to be part of it. And by pooling resources and by doing this together, we reduce the risk that is experienced by any individual investor. And we leverage the expertise of people like us at XSITE Capital who have done this before. And all of the other attendant benefits like great returns, minimization of risk, provision of high quality living arrangements for wonderful tenants either in the Americas or right here in Nigeria. Fantastic. What's the positive impact of this on the Nigerian economy? I mean, it's a mess. I think Nigeria right now, particularly the urban areas, have a significant shortfall of high quality, affordable housing. And XSITE Africa plans to play in that space significantly. We plan to be able to create high quality, affordable homes to the growing population of young, dynamic Nigerians that are growing into the workforce right now. So in my perfect world, many years from now, we'll be talking about how XSITE Africa transformed the approach to, high quality, affordable housing for the growing population of Nigeria. Oh, yeah. I've had multiple times in my investment journey where things did not go as planned. Um, One thing about investments, when it comes to any type of investing, so you have to realize that there is no reward without risk. So you always just have to do your due diligence to make sure that you are minimizing the risks associated with any type of investing that you do. So for us at XSITE Capital, for example, I remember with our most recent acquisition, which was the $49 million 268 unit apartment community that we bought just outside of Atlanta, we almost could not raise enough for this deal. We had to raise over $22 million for it. And we got to maybe about half of that raise and we were stuck. And we were at risk of completely losing the deal and losing a significant amount of money in the process. But we had to reach down deep within us and we had to push ourselves into our zone of discomfort. We had to come up with wonderful and creative ways to educate our community of investors about the immense opportunity that was right before us. And before long, just because we stayed the course and continued to do the work that was necessary to move things forward, our investors saw that vision and bought right into it. And they rallied around us and got more investors in and increased their own investment amounts. And before long, we got momentum again. And we were eventually able to close the deal. But that process certainly taught me a valuable lesson that it's not over until it's over. One. Second, that you grow the fastest when you are in your zone of discomfort. If everything comes too easy, then you're not pushing hard enough. You're not growing fast enough. But if some things are taking quite a bit of effort and you're going through the roller coaster of entrepreneurship, then that means that you are actually pushing boundaries enough, you're growing fast enough. That's great. When I think about XSITE Africa 5 to 10 years from now, I would hope that we have created a niche in the real estate space in Nigeria, where Nigerians in Nigeria are able to also access high quality institutional grade real estate throughout the world, and Nigerians in diaspora and Nigerians in Nigeria can also invest in and have access to high quality real estate investments right here at home, and by so doing create fantastic living spaces for the residents or the tenants that are going to be enjoying those real estate investments. I think for me, as the leader at XSITE Capital and XSITE Africa, I just don't think of the investors as our only client. I see our residents, our tenants, just as an important part of our mission. My goal is to create fantastic living spaces for people. A place where they can live, work, and play. A place where they can grow into, where they can grow to love. A place where they feel comfortable, where they can truly pursue their passions. And I also see on the investor side to create opportunities where those investors can invest with us together to create fantastic real estate opportunities with lower than average risks, with higher than average returns, and with great opportunities to create massive portfolios of cash flowing, wealth growing real estate in a way that reduces the risk for any individual investors but maximizes the returns for them. That is my dream for XSITE Capital. That is my dream for XSITE Africa. That is my dream that we as Nigerians can start working together in amazing ways that truly transforms our future. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. For me, that first step starts today with the launch of XSITE Africa. In the ensuing years, we're going to do transformative things. And we have the people in place because I believe in this group of people called Nigerians. We are a dynamic group of human beings. We have one of the most amazing young enterprising population, and we need to take advantage of our most greatest resource, which is our human capital. And I just believe in our ability to really work together, and we're only going to do it by collaborating, by putting our heads together and solving our problems. Nobody's coming to save us. We are going to solve our problems ourselves by working together. And I hope that XSITE Africa can be a big part of starting that conversation, facilitating that conversation, creating the platform for a lot of us to work together and create wealth, both here on ground in Nigeria, but also throughout the world, and certainly in the United States of America.